If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. If I were the prince of dark.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the ETW News Network. Looks like Mark's having a little bit of trouble, can't get his player to work. C.S. Rivers, are you here, or is your computer locked up too? Today, 5/22/2012. Okay, she's here. Alrighty. So did you figure out this morning, Cindy, about the behind the scenes stuff with Blog Talk? Did you figure that out? Yeah, there's something going on with the Blog Talk. We got some difficulties taking place here. We don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling here today. And good to see you all, and good to be with you all. Now I've got a news report here. There is a woman that got attacked. She got attacked while ordering lunch at McDonald's drive-thru. I can't turn it up anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It won't go up anymore. I don't know what's going on with the volume. It won't turn up. It will not. The volume will not turn up anymore. I just have to shout, I guess. Woman gets attacked at McDonald's drive-thru, Denver, Colorado. Police are investigating a vicious beating in a McDonald's drive-thru in Denver. Shannon, who asked us not to use her last name, was the victim of an attack on May 9th just before noon. Now, before I go any further, you got to know, you got to understand this is only going to ratchet up and get worse. I mean, I don't go to McDonald's. I used to, but I don't go there anymore. You can't even go to a fast food restaurant. Can't even go to a fast food restaurant without being attacked anymore, it seems, on this day and time. Seems to me that people are becoming unhinged and they're losing it. But anyway, let's go on and read it. Shannon, who asked us to not use her last name, was the victim of an attack. She called the sister station KUSA 9 News and asked for help finding her attackers. She said, I don't feel safe anymore. The attack happened in the middle of a busy lunch hour at the McDonald's on 3300 Colorado Boulevard near Martin Luther King Drive. And anyway, listen to this. Radio reference recorded dispatch describing the attack as multiple 911 calls came in. Said 2 black females are inside. They're fighting inside the car, still in the drive-thru. One dispatcher can be heard saying, Shannon been coming to the same drive-thru every day for 5 years without a problem until this incident. Oh, Wirez, hush. Oh, man. She said, listen, I witnessed this young lady throwing trash out of her car, and all I said was, that ain't cool. So, obviously, let me, and then all of a sudden she was attacked. So, obviously, we have a white woman here that witnessed a couple of black people throwing trash out of the car, and all she said was, that ain't cool. And a few choice words later, she thought it was over. All of a sudden, she was being attacked. Yeah, right there at McDonald's drive-thru. Sure, absolutely. right there at McDonald's drive-thru. 2 women jumped out of the car in front of her. She was right in my window just punching me in the face, pulling my hair, Shannon said. She started biting on my hands so severely I thought she was going to bite them off, actually. Now, can you imagine? Can you imagine being at any place? And I have to say that I don't know that Shannon. I'm trying to break this down, but maybe she shouldn't have said one word about him throwing the trash out. Maybe she just should have let it go. But then again, she probably felt a duty and said, that ain't cool. I wasn't there. You wasn't there. But does it justify? Does it justify them begin to beating and punching and pulling her hair and biting her like a rabid dog? It does not. Then a man jumped out of the car, and listen to this, and threw a soda through her window. He said, this is for you, white bee. This is a great soda. And then they took off, Shannon said. Now, the attack happened in plain view of a rooftop security camera. It happened in plain view. But Denver police told Shannon the actual beating was not caught on tape. Investigators won't release the security video, calling this an open investigation. McDonald's management has no comment, but they said they're cooperating with the police. If they can do that, they can snap and do something else, Shannon said. Yeah, I agree with Wirez. Where's Al Sharpton on this one? Where's Jesse Jackson to help Shannon? Where are they at? Oh, they're not there. They're not there. Wrong skin color. And I'm not being racist. I'm just simply saying. Shannon was the white girl. 2 black girls beat her, pulled her hair, bit her on the hand, and here we go. Then the guy gets out. The black guy gets out and throws a grape soda and hits her with it, or in the car, and says, "This is for you, you white bee." And then they moved on. And the only reason I'm laughing is not because of poor Shannon. The only reason I'm laughing is because, guess what? Many bystanders stood by and watched it, multiple calls of 911, but nobody decided to help her. Yeah, nobody decided to help her. Nobody decided to help her. She's scared to even go out, which, it may be a double-edged sword. Maybe a double-edged sword here. It may be that Shannon no longer eats at McDonald's, which would be a good thing for her. As all of us, starting with me, have, my daughter was asking me today again. She was asking me today again. She said, "Daddy, you sure you through with pork?" I said, "Yeah, I am, honey," again. She said, "You quit it so many times." I said, "I know I have." I said, "But I'm through with it." And it may be wise that Shannon forgets about McDonald's anymore. Lest 2 or 3 of them kill her next time. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, there were multiple calls. Let me back up. I've got to get into some other stuff about your electricity bill going through the roof. But anyway, it says that there were multiple calls. Radio reference recorded dispatchers described it, and multiple calls came into 911. But then again, where were the people? Where were the people? Where are the people that were going to help her? Probably most folks today, they figure, I'll just stay out of it. But then again, how do you determine whether to stay out of it or whether to get involved? Well, to me, I guess you have to weigh the consequences of a corrupt judicial system, although that most of us would want to, put an end to the beating and stop and help her. But at the same time, if we put an end to it and the longevity happened there, you could probably, you could probably bank on several cop cars pulling up, and instead of asking you what happened, you get tased and thrown on the ground. So it's sort of a damned if you do and damned if you don't, pardon the language, in helping somebody nowadays, because you yourself may wind up being the one that's accused of the wrong when you yourself were being a good Samaritan. So what do you do? What do you do? I guess you have to weigh it out, and you have to wonder, is another person's life worth helping? To me, I say it is. To me, I say it's worth helping. I say it's worth helping. But enough of that story. I've got to get to another one here because I have got to tell y'all about this. If you remember the fuss and the fighting about, the coal plants being so totally wicked, the coal plants not being what we need, but we got to have solar and wind for our energy. Well, the puppets that are not in charge but are the puppets, they have really had an all-out war on the fossil fuels and the coal industry and everything else. And what we see and what we find is that, guess what? There is going to be, and by the way, I think Wirez said his light bill's gone up. Yeah, absolutely. But last week, the U.S. Energy Information Administration reported a shocking drop in power sector coal consumption in the first quarter of 2012. In other words, coal-fired power plants are now, they're only doing about 36%. Only 36% of U.S. electricity versus the 44.6% just a year ago. It is the result of an unprecedented regulatory assault on coal that will leave us all much poorer. In other words, how's that going to take place? Well, here's how it's taking place. It's taking place because last week PGM Interconnection, the company that operates the electric grid for 13 states, for 13 states, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, District of Columbia, held its 2015 capacity auction. These are first real market prices that take Obama's most recent anti-coal regulations into account. They prove that he is keeping his campaign promise. That he's keeping his campaign promise to make electricity prices nearly skyrocket. Listen to this now. The market clearing price for new 2015 capacity, listen, it was 136 megawatt per megawatt. That's 8 times higher than the price for 2012, which was $16 per megawatt. Did you just hear what I just said? See you later, Mark. Listen to me now. The market clearing price, and who knows if we'll even have electricity in 2015. I'm just simply doing the how should I say this, the venture of the future if it does go that long. It went from 16 per megawatt, and by 2015, 136 per megawatt. Are you got to be kidding me? How can we afford that? You see, and let me say this to you. It does not matter whether it's Obama or Romney. Okay, it ain't going to change the price of electricity being almost unbearable to pay. You see, because this price, you ready for this one? You ready for this one? Listen to me. From $16 per megawatt to 136, you ready, per megawatt, And then in D.C., the new price, $167 per megawatt. Now listen to this. For Northern Ohio Territory,